What's up, everybody? Welcome to our Fiery Embers show on the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network. This live show, which means you might hear dogs barking, is not one that is going to bring you the latest tip on how to increase your VO2 max, but it will make you laugh, which will have cardio benefits. So stick around, get to learn more about our guests outside of the world of running, swimming, and cycling. Today, I'm going to be joined by Liz, Ryan, and Mandy, team running all day, all night, day or morning. I screwed that up all multiple times already. Team Random from Relay, Iowa, which is a 339-mile run across Iowa. There are 3 out of a total of 9 participants, and we're going to discuss a lot of the funny stuff that happens over the course of that distance in just 2.5 days. But before I bring them on, check out the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network on your favorite podcast platform. We have a variety of shows, which means we have something for everyone, from music and food to human interest stories of everyday athletes overcoming obstacles to reach their finish line. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and review our network so that we can continue to bring great guests onto our show. And without any further ado, let's bring Team Random forward. First joining us is Liz, then Mandy, and now Ryan, who is actually the linchpin to all of this. As some of you have read Ryan's story on our website, as well as heard him on our Fiery Embers in the past. He is my connection to Liz and Mandy. So I'm going to go right to him first. Ryan, dude, like, how do you find yourself at the start line of a race that's going to go 339 miles across Iowa in 2.5 days with complete strangers? Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's quite the, well, I was gonna say it's quite the story. It's really, I just was on TikTok the last couple of years, and a lot of run talkers, as we call them, have done this race before. And every time they would post about it, even though the team last year got super sick, I still had incredible FOMO because this race looked awesome. I've never done a relay. The most I've ever done is a marathon. And I'm just like, that looks fun. I want to be a part of that. And when I got asked, I think it was shortly after the race last year, I'm all in. And so it's ever since then, I didn't even have like a second question about it. I just made sure it was good with my wife, that I could be gone for a weekend. And I was set. I was ready to go.
Who reached out to you to get you onto the team?
Mark Johnson, our team captain.
So if I ask Mark, was it the "Hope This Finds You Well" videos that brought him in? Would that be the answer?
Maybe. Mark, it's funny, on TikTok, Mark was one of the first runners I followed forever ago.
Yeah.
And he's kind of been, he's from Iowa. He's an Iowa native, and he's been on the team the last couple of years. So he's a tried and true veteran of the race. And I was like, as long as he's got the logistics down and I don't have to think about that, like that was a bigger selling point too, is like, I can just be a pawn in his game, and you just tell me to run and I'll go.
Mandy, how did you get roped into this?
I volunteered. Mark had a TikTok out there. I know, crazy, but it's a year of growth for me, and I'm doing all sorts of crazy stuff. He had a video, and he was looking for more teammates, and I reached out because I live in Minnesota, so it's not that far. So I'm like, if I'm going to do something crazy, I can drive there. That's easy. Yeah, that's how I got roped into it. He's like, yeah, we have room. We need people, and so I signed up.
And Liz, how were you roped into this idea?
It was the same as Ryan. He reached out to me right after the first one that I watched, which was last year. That he reached out to me, like, I think it must have been like a week or two after, and I was like, sure, I'll make it work.
So Ryan said he hadn't been on a relay team before. Mandy or Liz, have either of you been part of a relay team? No. So totally blind. I'm raising my hand. I'm volunteering. Yes, sign me up.
It was purely based on watching their TikTok videos. And like Ryan said, they were sick. They were so sick the first relay that they did, and we still wanted to do it so bad.
I didn't know that until after I paid for it. I found out that everybody got violently sick, like to the point they were pooping and puking all over.
Oh boy.
Iowa.
Yeah, several of them ended up in the hospital.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, it was not good.
We're talking about getting a relay team for next year. We're going to edit this out so that we can actually have a team going. So, Ryan, help me understand this part of it all. I'm going to do this relay. What were your expectations going into this? Was it like, I'm going to haul ass for 10, 20 miles, or I'm going to run? Like, what were you thinking was going to happen?
I've thought about this plenty of times because I don't know that I really had any expectation because I didn't know what to expect. Right. The way I approached it in my head, though, was like, or how I kind of just rationalized it, because I just could not. I was like, I don't know. I have no idea. Once we're out there and it's 5 a.m. and I've been up for X number of hours, like I didn't know. But the way I framed it in my head was, okay, if I take like a marathon training week, which is about 35, 40 miles, in the early stages, and cram that into like a 3-day window, I think I can do that. And that's kind of how I bargained with myself, where I was like, I'm not sure how I'm going to feel, with the cadence of like running and stopping and running and stopping. But I just wanted to embrace the whole thing. And the other part of it too is like, we're going to be running along the side of highways, through towns, across a whole friggin' state. Like that just seemed so exciting that I didn't really care about anything else.
And Mandy, what were you expecting? Were you expecting I'm going to run for 5, 6, 7 miles and stop? Or did you already know going in like, okay, 1 mile at a time?
No, we didn't know that. I just figured I've never ran a marathon before. I've ran some half marathons.
Okay.
Done a lot of 5Ks, 10Ks. And I just figured, if I can do a half marathon, I can do this. Yeah. And I knew it'd be the equivalent of about 3 half marathons in 3 days. I didn't know what it would look like. I was hoping we wouldn't run more than 2 to 3 miles at a time, honestly.
Yeah. Liz, you're laughing. Was that your hope too?
Yeah, that was the same concept. I really had no idea either. I just knew I was going to do whatever they asked of me, and that we were going to, build a team, and that it was going to be fun. I didn't expect it to be as much fun or as crazy as it was, but it met my expectations and then exceeded that.
Hands down, it exceeded it. Yep.
Were there awkward moments at the very beginning? Because you guys don't know each other. Sure, you met each other through social media, and it was like, but what? So it was smooth. Like, hey, I know I've seen your videos and I've seen your posts, and we're like best of friends before we even start. Then,
not with us anyway. I didn't feel like in our car, because the 3 of us were in the same vehicle together the whole time, so we were together the whole time, except when we abandoned Mandy at the park.
Oh, okay. We need that story.
Yeah. But I didn't feel like there was any awkwardness, even really with the rest of our teammates, or even with the other teams, because we were just excited to meet everybody. We had interacted for years. I'd followed Mark for like 5 years now. So it wasn't, I didn't think it was awkward.
Yeah, I had several conversations like throughout about how it was so bizarre, surreal in a way, because it's like you have seen these people, like long, like lens shots of people standing, like, what they look like, how their mannerisms are, but like to actually be in the same space and talking to them is like, there was no need for like introductions. It was just like hugs and handshakes right away with everybody.
Yeah, immediately.
It was such a cool feeling and vibe.
That's awesome.
And I think that speaks to the authenticity that we have created on TikTok as Run Talkers.
Yeah, which you don't get in a lot of places, right? And from a lot of people, it's a lot of bullshit, right? Like masquerading as hard stuff, and it's like, please be honest with us, Manny. Be honest with us. What's this story about you getting left behind?
Oh, it's a good one. Well, it starts with, we should really start where we need to start. The reason I was left behind is because Liz had to go to the emergency room.
What? Right?
Yeah, so maybe we start there before we start with me getting left in the park.
It's completely unrelated to the race, but when I got on the airplane to fly to Iowa, my eardrum ruptured, and I felt it rupture, but it went like the pain subsided really quick, and I was like, that can't be it. It probably just popped. It's fine. By the next day, my cheek was so swollen, I looked like a chipmunk. And I was in so much pain.
Which one? Like, Alfred, Simon, or Theodore?
Here is the thing, though.
Theodore.
She would ask me, she'd say, does my cheek look swollen? And when you just meet someone, you don't know. I'm like, well,
she said, I thought you looked like that.
Like, I don't really have a baseline, Liz. As the day went on, I'm like, yep, it's swollen. It is, because it's getting bigger now. But how do you know? But yeah, she was in pain, and she ran through that whole thing all day long. With us, we're strangers, but not really.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had to go to the emergency room.
The
prior to the event.
The pain got so severe. So by the time that we got our break, which was like around 9 p.m., we had just driven through where the hospital was, and I was like, maybe I should take advantage of this and go, because otherwise we were in the middle of nowhere. And Ryan and Mandy were like, you should probably go because it's getting worse.
And I said it was my car and I needed sleep. I'm like, you know what? I am 44. I need to get a little sleep if I'll be asked to run tomorrow. So that's why I'm like, they go, well, why don't we drop you off with our other teammates in the park? And then they were going to go to the ER.
You say 44 like that's old. I'm 51. Like,
Okay.
what are we doing
I'm not
here?
old. I felt old compared to these two. I got called mom a couple times.
Oh shit! Then I'd be called granddad.
But
Well,
Ryan,
you're pretty close to my dad's age, actually.
oh, thanks. How do we remove her from the show? Ryan, how hard was it for you to run while the Pacers are, scrambling in the NBA playoffs?
Okay, so like I told
You made us
multiple people-
Pacers fans. Now we're
I did.
obligated Pacers fans.
Never heard about the Pacers. Well, so Thursday night when we got up there's a meeting at a restaurant called Buffalo Alice's, and that's where you get like your Relay Iowa shirts and your tracker, and there's like a pizza thing. Well, that was the night of game 1. Okay, so I'm there and I'm like talking to multiple people. I'm like, little did I know when I signed up for this race a year ago that my Pacers would be in the NBA Finals when I'm running this race. So fast forward later that night, if you don't recall or if you don't follow sports, the Pacers came back from like 15 down. I'm in my hotel room. We have to get up and be in the park at like 5 a.m. for like 4:45 leaving the hotel. And it's like 10 o'clock at night. And Tyrese Halliburton hits a shot with 0.3 seconds left. And I'm in my hotel room like this. I can't yell, right? And then I have to try to go to sleep. And I didn't go to sleep for like 2 more hours. And so I was already behind the sleeping 8 ball, whatever you want to call it. I was behind right from the get-go. And but I was floating on cloud 9 that Friday morning when we showed up to the starting line.
And so now you've recruited multiple people to be Pacers fans, and so now they're angry at you because they have to watch the NBA Finals late into the night these days.
Yeah.
And they better win.
And the Pacers are facing
win.
elimination. So yeah, we'll see. Big game.
But Mandy, you said you're from Minnesota, so the Wolves are out. You just kicked them right out.
Sure did. Yeah, I don't really watch. My kids watch Minnesota sports. I go to the Twins games. I like.
There you go.
No, yeah.
All right. So I'm a big fan of food. And sitting in a car for 3 days, like I'm just thinking, like, how am I going to get this food? Where's the cooler situation? Like, Liz, I'll send this to you first. Like, how are you getting set up for nutrition to run a mile at a time? Plus, you got to eat. I mean, you're out there for 2.5, 3 days. Like,
yeah,
we
starved. We starved. No, I flew in, so I couldn't bring food. So Randy and Ryan and Mandy handled that situation. We had a cooler in the back. It's their couple name. We had a cooler in the back. We had what were those things called? The peanut butter and jelly things. Uncrustables. We survived off of those, but we also survived off gas station food. Like the team last year kept talking about Casey's gas station, and I had never heard of it, seen it, whatever. And I'm obsessed now. I had the breakfast pizza like every day.
It's a Midwest staple, Casey's.
Yeah.
Is. We have them all over the place, especially Iowa. I think they gauge how big their towns are. They say, "Oh, you have a Casey's? If you have a Casey's, you
made it."
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot like Texas with Buc-ee's.
No.
These are little Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
Buc-ee's is huge. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a little 7-Eleven, but the food is better. I don't know.
All right, let's talk bathroom situations because you're not running for 2.5 days straight without, having to use the restroom every now and again. And there's a lot of laughter. By the way, if you can't watch the show right now, there's laughter across the screen. So there clearly some shit happened, literally. I'm guessing.
Or not happening.
Or not happening. Okay.
Or not was the problem.
Oh.
Ryan,
I don't think I've ever talked about shit more than I have with two strangers who became my best friends. But it was great. Liz couldn't poop, so it was a problem. And I feel comfortable saying that because she was posting TikToks about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you watch my TikTok?
Okay.
We're going to go to Ryan about this, though, right? Because you got to be, like, gentlemanly. Like, I can't fart. There's 2 ladies here. Like, and they're strangers at first. So at what point are you sweating thinking, oh, my God, I just ate that beef jerky stick and I gotta rip one?
It was hilarious. Like that was one of the things as I was going up there. I was like, it's going to be, you're just going to have to dive right in. Like you talking about how we're like strangers, but you have to get to, and like, especially as runners, like that is like, we all have that like pre-race anxiety, right? So it's like, you kind of just had to be open with it. And, what was that, Sunday? I made people wait because I had been waiting all morning. We ran through Dyersville and Field of Dreams. We finally hit a gas station and I was like, it wasn't a gas station. It was a checkpoint. And I'm like, I got to take advantage of the opportunity here, because when you're running alongside the road, like any sort of public restroom that isn't like a complete, bombshell, like you got to take advantage. So no, that's it. Like you just we even said at one point, I'm like, and we're all parents. It's like parenting and running like makes you very open about talking about bathroom stuff. So
bodily functions.
We just dove right in. It was fine.
Or just being an extrovert, dude. Like that's just happening. And so you said Field of Dreams. You said had to go to the bathroom, porta potty. Like when you're in there, were you like, is this heaven?
After the morning, I was just counting down. No, yeah, I did do an "Is This Heaven" video, but it wasn't from the porta potty. So yeah,
you should have added a porta potty.
I should have. That's a good idea.
So Liz, you were stopped up. What was the old wives' tales that these two were telling you? Like, oh, you should drink castor oil; it'll help.
No, well, the problem was that I needed to poop. It'd been like 4 days since I last shit. And by Saturday, I was absolutely miserable. My face was swollen like a chipmunk. I literally looked like Theodore because I was also super bloated, 9 months pregnant.
Oh, no. What?
Yeah. I was miserable. But I tried.
Why do you bury the lead in this conversation? You're 9 months pregnant.
She's not pregnant. No,
I'm not pregnant. I'm not pregnant. I look pregnant.
Okay. No. I was like, holy shit!
No.
Bury the lead.
No, I don't think that I could do that pregnant. Do you, Mandy?
No.
Didn't somebody tell a story about how there was a couple that ran it last year and she was pregnant, and then like the child ran across the finish line with him this year, or maybe that was a couple of years ago. But I don't know. It was 9 months.
I did hear that. Yes.
But 9 months is a whole other level of like.
Yeah. To her, yeah, definitely. Because there's no way. No, I wasn't pregnant. It just looked like I was because I was so bloated. I had what was that little machine called? I was using that on my belly. The massager. The massage gun. Yeah. I was like trying that. I drank a Coke because my doctor said to do that.
Libby was swearing by apricots. She had dried apricots because she was playing with it too, and she's like, "Eat some of these."
And then jelly beans. I tried jelly beans too. Nothing worked really. I don't know what ultimately worked actually, but by Saturday evening, I'd had one, and we were all celebrating.
Congratulations!
Thanks.
Better than the medal, I'm sure. Like, oh, relief. All right, so Ryan, I'll hit you up first. At what point along the 2.5 days, give me one moment where you were like, honestly, this is the best thing ever. Like you're either out there running or you're out there cheering or crewing. Like give me that one moment.
I hopefully I will probably steal all three of our answers.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're all gonna say the same thing.
We're gonna say the same. I know exactly what we're gonna say.
Yeah. So Saturday afternoon, evening, like our group, so it was us three and then Libby and Carrie in the other car, but we were kind of the unit of 5. We took over. I think it was about 3:00 in the afternoon when we came back on. Maybe anyway, somewhere around there. And we got going. We got into our rotation, and like the sun is setting, and we are like 1 mile at a time, and we're all like ripping miles. Like Carrie handed off to Libby. Libby comes turning, like ripping around the corner, hands it off to me. I'm on a gravel road. I am like fired up. And I like blitz to Liz and we're catching up to teams in front of us.
Yeah. We had last all day.
We hadn't seen them. And all of a sudden we had like a rejuvenation. The vibe was right. Liz hands off to Mandy. And like, just during that whole sequence, like none of us like said anything. We just all fed off of each other's energy. And it was like, this is it. This is what I came for. And when Liz said earlier how it exceeded expectations, like this is like, all right, this is already a win in my book for sure.
Yeah.
We that night with the sun setting, the sun came out and we were finally back in it. Like cars are passing you and beeping at you, and you're like, yes, finally, this is what I signed up for. And then Liz, the whole team worked hard to get caught up, and we got caught up to people. I won't say more. And she passed someone. and she handed me the tracker. And I just remember thinking, I come hell or high water. I don't care if I'm on mile 26 for my second day. I'm tired as all hell. I'm not going to let these people pass me because they've worked their butts off to get there. And so I took off like I've never taken off, and I PR'd my mile that night. Like,
Nice.
I don't know where that came from, but it was so fun. Like, I don't know. And then I handed off. I couldn't stop because I was going so fast. And the next teammate that I handed off to, they were taking over for us. They said, "Don't stop. You have to go."
Just keep going.
Just the feeling of being back in the race was huge.
Yeah.
It was
that was the biggest thing, because it had been pretty discouraging to wake up.
all day.
We didn't go to win. We didn't go with any expectation of even being in the middle, but I knew that we were capable of more. So it was really frustrating to be in last place. But we weren't just like in last place. We were like way like hours behind everybody. So we worked our butts off to get caught up. And when we finally saw people, it was just like, oh, we also got ice
So
cream.
motivating.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
that'll do it.
The ice cream, kind of the sugar, gave us that rush that we needed, but it was super motivating seeing the other teams and like passing people, and like we weren't even seeing other cars. Like, we were by ourselves on this trail.
Well,
So it was.
we took a nap, and then when we got up, they had taken the signs down. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah. At one point,
because
we were
the
that
signs
far
were gone
behind.
because we were that far behind. Like, well, what the heck? Where do we go?
Where do we go? Luckily, we had Ryan, our navigator.
Thank God for Ryan. Yes.
Is it
It's
all
great.
just on one road? So like
No.
go east to west, or so you're moving around different.
Yeah.
You do get on some stretches that go for a long time, but like when
Yeah.
you navigate through towns and stuff, you do some weave in and yeah, some switching up there.
How many teams and how many runners total do you know?
I know it's 28 teams, right?
Yeah.
I believe they said 28 teams. I'm not sure how many runners. Every team could have up to 12, but there were several that had like 6.
Okay.
Yeah, we met a family actually at Subway that the dad and a mom and their 4 kids were running it. Maybe a friend too, but a family was running it together.
Well, that guy though, he wasn't there,
Yeah.
right? The dad.
No.
I talked to him.
Yeah, because we met him earlier.
He had a vest on in the morning, and I'm like, whoa, he must be out there a long time, because the rest of it, we don't wear anything because we're going a mile at a time. And so when I got up to him, I go, "Hey, how you doing?" And he goes, "I don't know." I go, "How long have you been out here?" He had been out there from midnight, and his shift was going to be done at 6. It was 5:30. I go, "How many miles have you done?" And he was in 30 something. He couldn't remember. And he goes, "I don't think we made the best choice." Or having one person go all night long while everybody else slept. I'm like, I don't think so either.
Yeah. But
So
as a dad, I can see why he chose that.
Yeah.
We've talked about the high parts. What were the low parts? Were there moments where you were like, man, getting out of this car to run another mile is like the worst thing I could possibly think of?
Trying to get sleep in the park all by myself in the middle of Iowa that was my low part for me.
Like, how are you getting sleep though? Like, that's confusing to me. If each person is running at a mile at a time, so you got to be up. If they're averaging 10-minute miles, that's 90 minutes, an hour and a half before you got to go again.
Yeah, their crew had
we did it in
4
shifts.
Yeah. So they would do their 4 people. They had a 6-hour shift.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where they just continuously would run. So
then were the cars staying with each other, or were you driving 4 hours ahead and meeting them there?
No, the cars stayed with each other, and then we would stay in a town, and then when we got up, we didn't really do that very good. I think if we do that again next year, we got up too late. Like, I think we tried to get as much sleep as we could, and we'd wake up, and then we'd have to drive quite a ways to get to our team. And they wanted us there at 3. I think we got there the first time at 3:30.
3:30. Yeah, we severely underestimated how far they would, like how far they would be. We didn't math right.
Well, at that point, it's really hard to be mathing.
Yeah.
What was the best thing you ate while you were actually running, Ryan? Like, not actually running, but actually out on the course with each other.
We had limited choices. There was like a spaghetti lunch on. Actually, no. Was it Saturday morning? There was a pancake breakfast. And
the
pancakes were pretty good. Outside of that, it was a lot of Casey's pizza, breakfast pizza, and stuff like that. So the pancake breakfast on Saturday, I will say, because that's kind of when we started to get a little bit of life after Friday night, rough night, lack of sleep, and so that's kind of that hit just right on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Typical, would you say typical ultra food was in the car? So Pop-Tarts. I know you mentioned
Yeah.
Uncrustables, but
I
that
brought
kind
the
of stuff.
Pop-Tarts in your honor, Jason. We had those. I was good. So we had
Yeah,
that,
but we didn't
protein
realize
bars.
we had them till too late.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
It was like Sunday when we were like, he has Pop-Tarts.
I'll take some.
What was the flavor? What was the flavor?
We had strawberry, and then the other flavor was the brown ones.
The brown sugar cinnamon.
The
Yeah.
brown cinnamon ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd forget about the strawberry ones too. If it were cherry, we'd be all in. But
Oh, strawberry's my favorite.
well, we'll have to diversify the product line next year then.
Thank you.
It sounds like if you're invited, I don't know how this works with the team, but if you're invited next year, the answer is yes. Is that a good assumption?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
we've all said yes already. I think we've already
Yeah.
committed.
And it's all put together by this one gentleman, Mark. And
Yeah.
so he's put together 2 teams now. So is it enough interest that he would put together a third team too?
He just put together our team. He split off from the other team to make our team because there was so much interest last year.
Gotcha.
It sounds like there's already a third team forming from the talks of it. Not from us or anything, but they're whispering about joining us next year.
Well, it's from us, Liz, because we posted the entire time we were out there.
Well, no, but I mean they're not
us.
like we know them because of TikTok.
They're run talkers.
Yeah, but they're not like joining our team.
No.
So I'm going to give you a scenario that we faced when we were at Badwater and we paced and crewed at Badwater. When you run in that weather, you sweat a lot and you fucking stink. Like there's just no way around it. You absolutely stink. And so we would hang our shirts out the window with, roll it up. And so it would catch the air breeze as you're going by. Like, are there any moments as you're going down for 2 to 3 days? Like you're like, oh my God, dude, wash that shirt, throw it out, burn it. It smells.
No,
No.
I don't think so.
I got 3 showers. I didn't expect
Yeah, we took a shower every chance we could.
Showers.
Yeah. We couldn't stand it. We couldn't stand being dirty.
Iowa people are super nice. They let us use their community center, 2 high schools,
gym.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, school gym.
We got to sleep in a wrestling room that on Saturday.
Yeah.
That was the best night of sleep. I mean, I had 3 hours, but hey, I slept on a mat with 50, 60 other runners in the room. That was a little weird when you're trying to find a spot to sleep.
But it's all dark in there and you have to be quiet when you walk in. So you really
That's
have no
hard.
idea where you're laying down. You just kind of lay down where you can.
You just hear people snoring.
Yeah, Ryan
slept
slept
outside. I was like, this is just, it would be too quiet. I wouldn't be able to sleep. And so I got a little dewy. I woke up all like wet, but hey, I was fine with it. But I will say, in terms of the stinky clothes thing, we had some good advice going in. Someone had ran before, said you should bring Ziploc baggies and put your clothes in there so that and seal them so that the stink doesn't get out. And sure enough, don't get me wrong, I probably stunk the whole time between showers.
You did it.
Yeah.
Ryan, we all smelled, so all we do is smell ourselves. Like all we can smell is.
You did. But we took so many showers.
I wasn't anticipating the 3 showers.
I wasn't either.
And I'm impressed. And you're not talking about truck stop showers either.
Like locker
community,
rooms
community gyms and stuff. That's really impressive. That makes it. I don't know. I wouldn't use the word easier, but it's probably more bearable.
Yeah, I think so. And they provided meals for us too. Not every meal, but they provided meals for us.
I think we had 3. It's a really nice race. And for the amount of money we spent and all the stuff they gave us.
Yeah, because it wasn't expensive at all to do it.
Awesome.
That is amazing. So what's the feeling like as, let's say you're about a 5K away, right? So now the last 3 runners are getting ready to put the full charge in for that last 5K. Did any of you finish the race? Were you the last leg? Were either any of you the last leg?
We all finished together as a team.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Mark ran the last mile up to that point, and then we went and parked, and then kind of, what was it, a quarter of a mile away?
Yeah, it wasn't very much, but yeah.
And then we all kind of grouped up and then, went across the line together.
So what's that feeling like? You've just experienced 2.5, 3 days with strangers, you're running, you're eating at, gas stations and just, I presume, sharing stories and laughing the majority of the time. And now it's coming to an end, right? So what's that feeling like? And Liz, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I don't know that I have the words for it. It was just really, truly incredible to have that feeling of this is something that we accomplished. This is something we accomplished together. and it's over is insane, because we had been planning for this for a year, and to finally be at that finish line was just an incredible feeling.
It like for me anyway, like graduation day of high school, and it's like, man, I know I might see some of these people again, but I probably won't see a lot of them even, and we're going to disperse. Like, was that a feeling like I want to hang on to this feeling for as long as I possibly can?
Yeah, we said that to each other. Like we say that almost every other day, I think. We're like, keep talking about it, keep the feeling alive, because it truly is just such an amazing, wonderful feeling, and we have such an amazing connection. We still text each other every day.
That's awesome.
And then we still have TikTok. So I know that's
Yeah.
such a silly thing, but it's what created these relationships, and it's what's going to continue to grow them, I think.
Mandy, what was it like for you as you're coming down that last quarter mile stretch?
I think it was so emotional to me, and I was so tired at that time. I didn't think about leaving these guys. I was just so on such a high, like, I can't believe I just did this. I can't believe I just went out of my comfort zone. Nobody I know, everybody thought I was absolutely freaking crazy. Like, you're going to do what? Where are you going? With who? My mom was just beside herself. Like, are you going to be okay? Like, are you going to get murdered on the side of the road because you're going to Iowa to meet people on TikTok? She still thinks TikTok is the dancing app. I don't know. The crazy people are on that app. And I'm like, I am. So I don't know. It was so emotional. It's such an awesome feeling, and everybody's cheering for you. I had the guy that I met on the course that he actually is on YouTube and got me in his YouTube video, which was so cool. He was at the end, and he's like, I didn't have anybody there, I knew, but he's like, Mandy, hey, Mandy. And he called me over. He's like, congrats. I've been following your stuff on TikTok since we connected out there on the course. And I'm like, that's so cool. Great.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you. So it didn't really hit me until the next day when I finally got some sleep. Like, oh,
I know.
see them. I don't know. So right in that moment, no, I was just on top of the world, and it was awesome. But
Ryan, I'm going to change the question for you, because you had just finished the Flying Pig not that long prior to that, and there's a picture of you emotional as you're getting ready to cross the finish line there.
Yeah.
And so compare the two, right? Because they're not that far apart from each other in a time sequence scenario.
Yeah, I knew with Flying Pig, I knew I was probably gonna get emotional because that was like a solo thing, right? Like marathons, and my family was gonna be there. So I with Relay Iowa, I wasn't really sure what to expect, and it just happened to be it was my mom's birthday that day, and my parents were up visiting my sister and my brother-in-law. They live about an hour away, so they had come down, and I really wasn't emotional at all until like as we're walking up. I got my phone out and I got a video of like our crew, like the 8 of them in front of me, like walking, and it like kind of started to hit me right then. And when I ran across like the finish line, I knew mom and dad and my sister, my brother-in-law, and my nephew were going to be there. And I saw my dad and my sister and my brother-in-law to the right, and I couldn't find my mom, and I like glanced over to the left, and she was by herself. And I went over there and I went to hug her, and like as soon as I hugged her, I started sobbing harder than I did Flying Pig. I was like, because I think it was just so bittersweet that it was like it was over. And because you're in the fight, and the experience that we all had and the bond that we all created, and it really started to sink in. And it was funny that it did not register that the emotions would come. And then like as soon as we crossed the line, I was like, we just friggin' did that. Like I've done that with the marathon, and it's a solo achievement, but like being in it with all of them was like, I think it just made it even more special, and it didn't really hit me until right then.
That's amazing. You guys have been awesome guests. If you haven't convinced people to do a relay, I don't know what they're thinking, because it sounds like a phenomenal experience. I know I'm super excited about putting together a team for the Wild West Relay out in Colorado next year with RTB, and so like this just gives me the fuel for that conversation, because bringing strangers together, running the experience, the hard, the good, the laughs, the ups, the downs, and just connecting with people, especially in the digital world that we have today, where oftentimes we can feel alone because it's a digital space that we're occupying. You guys are awesome. I'm going to go one by one. Liz, final words, thoughts, experiences, thanks, whatever you want, share about your time with these two guys and the rest of the team.
Yeah, no, I'm just super grateful for the experience and for the fun and the laughter that we shared. And we got really deep really quick and became fast friends. And it's just one of those like meant to be things. We randomly ended up on the same team. We randomly ended up on Team Random. We randomly ended up on this in the same vehicle. You know, it just worked out perfectly. And I couldn't have been with better people. So I'm really, really grateful for that.
Final thoughts, Mandy?
I would say if you're contemplating doing something like this, do it. It's awesome to get out of your comfort zone and get to meet people that are passionate about something just like you are. Like these people, you guys and our team, I feel on top of the world right now. Like I can do hard things. I'm running a marathon in October, my first one, and now it's like, God, if I can do Iowa, I can do a marathon.
That's nothing. It's
I got
nothing.
that. I know I'm not there. I'm not ready for it, but I'm excited for it. So I would highly, highly recommend it. And come do Relay Iowa. It's really fun.
All right, dude. What do you got?
I echo what they both said. I told them I've got sisters for life now out of this because like Liz was saying, like for us to end up in the same car, the experience that we all had together. And yeah, for real, if you are considering it, if you're thinking about a relay of any sort, do it, jump in, don't question it, just go after it. Like I cannot stress enough. Like I had high expectations and it like cleared the bar on all of them. And I just have like memories for life. I have bonds for life because of those 3 days in Iowa. And the thing is like Iowa,
No,
listen,
it froze.
I live in Illinois
No.
and Illinois is not all that different from Iowa, but the
Yeah.
fact that like Iowa blew me away. It was what a wonderful state that was. So I got to take a tour of Iowa with these
It's
8
okay.
other people and it was
Let's
just a
tell
wonderful
them it
weekend.
froze.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. I will be back here
Well, I
on the
think it was
Fiery
'cause I
Embers
got
here
a
in a little
phone
bit,
call.
but I will let you guys go and I'll get back
I'll
to you in a
fix
minute.
it.
For those of you that stuck around for this Fiery Ember show with Team Random that went across Iowa, 339 miles in 2.5 days, but it was more than steps. It became bonds amongst the team members. Thank you for being a part of it. Thank you for listening. And be sure to check out our other shows on the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network, wherever you get your podcast shows. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, review, and comment. Have a great one, and we'll see you next time on